This one is an old wheeled shear, made in China. Great handles. I love the handles on these. They've got flats, easy to grip when your knife's wet. Now we're going to give this one probably, I reckon, because it's quite fat, so I'm going to go with 20 degrees initially, see how that looks, and then depending on how it looks, because they're also a very soft steel, I'll change that up to 20. Okay, we'll try it on the fine setting, see what it comes up like. Quite large. I think I'm going to take it back to the 80 grit in order to roughen that up. The bevel is large, even at 20 degrees, because it's very fat. And I'll illustrate why that is. So let's presume we have a block of wood, square block of wood, like a beam, and it is square at the top, and we're going to cut it on a 45-degree angle. So the bevel is going to be that wide. At that same 45-degree angle, if we had a large block of wood, then it would be a much larger bevel, even though it's at the same angle. So that's why this has got a large bevel, even though it's at 25 degrees. But because it's so fat, that large bevel will give it a sort of a pseudo thinning effect, because it'll take away a lot of metal away from the edge. I'll show you in a minute. Well, I'll show you a before and after. So this is before, and this is after. This is the 20 degree. So you see how big that is? That's because the knife is very fat, but it takes metal away from the edge, and so it gives it a bit of a thinning effect. Even though it's not real proper thinning, it does ease the knife into the food, and that should make a nice sharp knife. Also notice how much metal was removed very quickly. That's because these are quite soft. Looks nice though, it looks proper. Nice big fat bevel. Reshaping that edge for another 20 years of use. So you can imagine if I'd laid that over on 15 degrees, that'd be massive bevel. So 20 degrees was the right decision. Starting to get a burn now. Nearly there. Before we finish, let's make the wheel fine again and give that a nicer bevel. I'll do one side and show you the before and after so you can see the difference in the grit. First of all, look how big that bevel is, but how nice it is now. See, look at that. That's Tormek edge work right there. Beautiful. So this is the 80 grit, or about 250 on the wheel. And this is the 1000 grit. See, it's a bit shinier. Or 320 on the plate. Beautiful. Big difference there. So 1000, 250. Beautiful. That's all that needs. I've got a big strong burr. Now the burr on these soft metals is a little bit harder to remove. We'll see how it goes. The reason it's harder to remove is because being a softer metal, it's more malleable, which means it wants to hold on to it, it wants to bend rather than break. Those sharp Japanese knives, they're very brittle, they're very hard steel, and so the burr breaks off much easier. They behave themselves. A few little catches there. Okay. Now, I'm not expecting this to perform as well as a thin Japanese knife on the cigarette paper, but we'll see how we go. That's surprisingly good. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can improve it. Still a little bit catchy. Let's try the rough side of the tail. Still pulling the paper down. It's not bad, but still needs a bit more. That's great. I'll give that a B plus. Not bad. Let's see how it passes the magazine test. That'll be great. So even though it's very fat and the inferior steel makes the cigarette paper test a little bit shaky, it passes magazine test no problem. So that's the Wiltshire chef knife, a real fatty. Thanks for watching. See you in the next movie.